Hatteras is an island on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The students at Cape Hatteras Secondary School live in towns on the island. It has a population of just over 4,300 people. The economy here is driven by fishing. Many of the children have families who work in the industry. Conetoe is inland about 160 miles from Hatteras, and it couldn't be more different. It's just about all farmland with a population of just under 300. Access to food is a problem in both communities, Hatteras and Conetoe. Access is defined by how far you have to drive and how much the food costs. During the winter on Hatteras, there are not many places to get affordable fresh food on the island. Evan Ferguson, a teacher at Cape Hatteras Secondary School, heard about an innovative project in Conetoe to address food access. She thought her students could learn something from them.
So what we learned about them is that they created a huge community farm, which includes beekeeping and just trying to feed their community and utilize healthy resources, trying to make sure that everybody's eating healthy, reducing the rate of obesity, but teaching them life skills too.
Only her school couldn't afford the $900 it would take to get them there, so we gave it to them. Evan decided she wanted to do a cultural exchange with the students from Conetoe, so in December we set out. Unfortunately, we did so at the same time that a nor'easter was blowing water onto the highway. We can't live without water. We rely on it for life, but it also threatens us, strands us, and separates us. That's what it is for the students at Cape Hatteras Secondary School, a wall. They live out on the edge of North Carolina life, connected to the rest of the world by a single bridge, surrounded by the ocean on either side. And they can be cut off at any time.
Anytime there's a good prolonged nor'eastern wind, this happens. So we're kind of fighting for some beach nourishment right here. It's not been approved, or we don't know when that's going to happen.
We managed to get off the island just as the road was closed. Once we knew we were going to make it, Evan slipped into teacher mode and prepared the students for what was going to happen.
Okay, we're going to have a food access discussion all together and with the other students. And remember, so I will give you these sheets. The definition for food access, and we went over this last week, is the accessibility and affordability of food retailers, travel time.
Well, our community is it's obviously on the island, so it's like a lot of fisheries and stuff like that as like an income. But their community is it's like a farming, like a lot of agricultural, a lot of farming there. So that's like how they make most of their profit.
We are going to Conetoe to observe them in their farming techniques, stuff like that, and see if we can trade with them so we can get fresh food at the school.
Hello, welcome to Conetoe. Good, you know right in through here. Hi, Richard Joyner. Hello, how you doing? Hello, welcome to Conetoe. Yes, indeed.
Hi, I'm Evan.
Evan, how you doing? The summer crops are the sweet potatoes, carrots, all kinds of things in the fall. Our fall harvest those cabbage plants around February. It really will be the beginning of the spring crop.
And they took us on a tour of the farm.
And when you go out to the fields, you see the crops growing and sprouting up. Right, Tatiana? Right. Reverend John, you have anything to say?
No, thank you.
And like I said, a year ago, this greenhouse was not here, nor the tunnel house.
and their beehives.
All these different honeys are here. And what I can do is not only do I move these different crops to rinse them out, I take this bud.
I want to see the queen.
Oh, no, not there. Mr. Hines, can you throw a queen out? You shouldn't in the winter. There's nothing in the hive that's harmful. Even the sting, they're testing the sting right now on cancerous cells. It's also, people have been known to use it as for MS. Duke is doing all this right now. A lot of them are doing that. So,
The brain behind this community farm is Reverend Richard Joyner. He runs the Conetoe Family Life Center. He holds this all together.
What we're really doing here, this is Conetoe. We're about 300 population in the city, small city of Conetoe, but we about a 25-mile radius. And what we're trying to do is provide food, human development, workforce development, and educational opportunity for our youth and families in this area.
After the tour, the students returned to the Family Life Center to talk about what they'd learned and how the two communities could work together using the Gathering for Good model pioneered by the Jamie Kirk Hahn Foundation. Together, the students brainstormed trading seafood for vegetables, creating a peer skill exchange program during the summer, learning new techniques for growing food in different ecosystems, building a small business to sell fish and produce to local markets, and providing food to needy families in both communities.
What are the next steps that we ought to take in this process so that we can continue to explore and figure out exactly what it is that we want to do? And this is really for us to just kind of hear from the young people initially to get your ideas about what do you think are the next steps we ought to take.
We could build a summer exchange program where we get a group from Conetoe come down to Hatteras and, learn how to fish.
I just want to say I'm really glad that we got to come here today. Eating healthy is something really important to me and my family.
And then it was time to go, but only after the first trade. The kids from Cape Hatteras gave the kids from Conetoe some fish, and the Conetoe students gave the Cape Hatteras kids collards to take back and cook. And then, only a few short hours after they arrived, the kids from Hatteras left. But they didn't leave empty-handed. Ferguson and her students brought back the collards, and together they cooked an authentic Conetoe meal.
I found the worm.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You did? Oh, yeah. And that one didn't come off in the water. That's why we have tea.
There's a lady from Kentucky that cooks the worms and all.
One student talked about the importance of what they learned and the challenges that Hatteras residents face. Her father is in the fishing industry, and she explained that the problems in the industry continue to grow.
He does inshore charters, so he's out in the sound mostly. He goes in the ocean when it's calm, but mostly he catches drum, flounder. When he goes in the ocean, he catches bluefish, speckled trout. Sometimes this time of year we bottom fish on a wreck. I'm not sure what the fish are called that we catch, but they're like different, like exotic kind of. They're cool.
So how important is the fishing industry here?
I think it's really important, especially the older people, because the marine fisheries are like really like getting tight with how like the limits and stuff, and the people that have been here for so long and are not used to stuff like that, and it's really taking a lot of money away from them, and they get mad about it, like the older people.
This made the exchange between the two communities all the more important. So in April, Ferguson and her students returned to Conetoe.
We got a local grant from the Hatteras Island Youth Education Fund to come out here for our second trip out to Conetoe. Well, the first trip was a little shorter and it was just really an introduction. And this trip, we're really focusing on the students connecting with one another and creating relationships. The first trip was in December, so there wasn't really much growing. So this trip, they actually get to get their hands dirty and learn some agriculture techniques, which is fun.
Pass that around, everybody. Pass it around so everybody can see. This is called the eye of the potato. Huh?
My mom works at a fruit stand, and I work there over the summer.
Come on up here then. This is the eye potato. You can plant it with the eye up. Okay. Approximately about, 2 feet apart. And don't come up and put your name by the row.
At the farm, Reverend Joyner put the Hatteras and Conetoe students to work. They started with potatoes. 16-year-old Tobias is a student at Tarboro High School. He explained his hopes for this collaboration and the importance for both communities.
Well, hopefully with this collaboration we'll be able to create a market that is not so great in Cape Hatteras, and Cape Hatteras will create a market for us that's not so good for us, and that through that collaboration we'll be able to reach more people, build healthier people.
And what we're learning.
Later, Reverend Joyner gave the students a more detailed tour of the farm and discussed the different kinds of products that can be planted there. He explained what they're learning about the agriculture business and what they have to do to succeed in the future.
Learning a lot about agriculture, but agribusiness. I mean, anything that we don't have to rebuy, how many know it means more profit for us? This piece of property here, we're going to start working on tilling this up today. As you can tell, drainage have been a problem over here, and this soil because of drainage, we have to wait every time it rains. It's a long time getting out here, so we're going to be doing drainage here.
And he gave the students the opportunity to try their hand at planting different vegetables. For Hannah, a sophomore at Hatteras Secondary, this was her first trip to Conetoe. Here's what she said about the experience.
I think it's really fun. I work with my mom at a fruit stand in the summer, and this was just really interesting seeing how you plant it and how it starts its whole... It starts its whole, you know what I'm saying?
Life?
Yeah, it starts its whole life.
Cool. And so what were your expectations coming into this?
I thought it was going to be kind of hard, but it was actually really fun.
What was fun about it?
I thought it was fun, planting them, and pretty much everything was fun. I thought it was just, and it was nice meeting new people.
So what do you think you learned today?
That even though we might be different, other cultures might be different, when you come together, you're more the same alike than you realize.
Near the end of the visit, the students gathered together in front of an old car off to the side of the farm. This shot reminds us that although the school year is ending, this is just the beginning of the exchange, an exchange that will build healthy students, healthy schools, and healthy communities.